So if we have that goals, content, and targeting, which is what we'll all understand, then it removes all the fear about social media or about, performance max is so difficult. No, it's not.
Carnegie, we are a full service agency that only works with colleges and universities. So we only serve higher education professionals. We are, full service marketing agency. So we do everything from marketing, branding, research, creative, and then I head up our digital division. A lot of what we do is running and executing digital marketing campaigns on behalf of our college and university clients. This recruitment into the conference space is sort of wearing my other hat to help out with this. This is definitely not my full-time role, is conference planning and recruitment. It's just when we were a lot smaller and everybody sort of had their hands on a lot of different things, I just volunteered myself and I've been doing it for years now. I love working with speakers and getting the right group. The itinerary and the programming for our conference is really important to us. And a little bit about the conference is also that, so we are obviously in higher ed, as I stated, and the way this conference started over 10 years ago was just recognizing a need in higher education to have a conference where we could bring subject matter experts that lived outside of higher ed to come. And it sounds like you both have some exposure to higher ed. They're very slow, they're late adopters, and they're about 10 years behind where the rest of the world is. And so 10 years ago, even think about that, they were barely doing digital marketing, like barely doing digital marketing. So this started as a digital marketing conference specifically to say, let's bring in social media experts and digital marketing experts and PPC experts and teach these higher ed professionals about the fact that they should be doing digital marketing, and here's why, which is crazy to think. Like 10 years ago, they weren't doing any of this, but they weren't. And the problem is in higher ed, you go to these higher ed conferences and all they do is talk to each other about, here's my case study. And I had, I was able to do all of this on shoestring, budget. And here's my billboard. And here's my, my media plan for ads in newspapers and radio and TV and, that kind of thing. And they just talk to each other and they don't think bigger and broader. So that's how this conference started, was like, let's teach them about digital marketing and why they should be there. Let's bring in people who are doing this and they're experts in their fields so that these higher ed marketing professionals can be inspired, but not be so lofty that it's like you're bringing in somebody who's doing the marketing campaigns for, like GE or something like that, where they have billion-dollar budgets, but actually be able to say, you can do this too, and here's how. Fast forward 10 years later, that's how it started. The core of the conference and the essence of the conference to bring in subject matter experts from outside of higher ed still stands. And that's why we do pretty deliberate recruitment of our speakers to fit that mold. But we've expanded. I mean, as a company, we've expanded. So now we're full service and doing all these things that we weren't doing 10 years ago as well. So the conference subject matter has expanded some. It's still marketing, still definitely rooted in marketing, but it goes a little bit beyond just digital marketing. We do a lot in branding and storytelling and things along those lines, analytics, like things like that. But I tend to try to focus on bringing in speakers is in my wheelhouse, which is more in the digital marketing realm. So that's a long story of how we got here today. So the amazing part of it is that through these years of me doing this, I've met probably a lot of your colleagues and friends and the speaker circuit. I have come to learn about the speaker circuit and how close you all are and how you all know each other.
Super small world. Yep.
Which is amazing. And the more that we've been able to recruit and people through that circuit, I don't want to say it's easy, but the easier it's become to get really qualified speakers because they're like, oh, so-and-so did it. If he did it or she did it, this must be a worthwhile organization.
That's exactly how it works.
It helps my job a lot because the truth of the matter is we don't make a dime on this conference. We do this. Yes, there's a self-serving piece of this is that we come in as the agency that brings all these together. And then they say, hey, that Carnegie's a really smart group of people. Maybe I should work with them. We do zero selling at the conference, like absolutely zero. We're not allowed, like our salespeople are told explicitly, this is not a sales conference at all. But yes, we like to hope that we are engendering the love for Carnegie that they may want to come. And we have definitely absolutely gotten business from it, but we don't make money on this conference. And I say that because we charge a really nominal fee so that we can get attendees. And so that's why our speaker fees, and I always feel badly about that, but I'm always very upfront about it. Like I know you all deserve more and get a lot more at other gigs. We're just not that entity. And so some speakers have a passion for higher ed and said, or a passion for Florida, frankly. They're like, I live in Michigan. I want to go to Florida in February and bring my kid or whatever. We're like, great, we'll do that for you.
Yeah.
So that's the story. So Sylvie, who's amazing, she's just a wonder. I don't know if you know her or not, but that's how this whole connection happened. And she's wonderful. What she speaks on is something that we are in personal branding, is we already have a speaker on it. So I'm going to push her to next year and hopefully she'll agree to do it. But in the meantime, unbeknownst to me, she put this on some speaker wire in Florida, which is how this all came out. Because she asked me, what else are you looking for? And I told her I'm looking for a speaker that can talk some nuts and bolts about digital marketing specifically. It can be on social media. It can be on PPC. It can be on just general digital marketing. We have a lot of storytelling speakers right now and branding speakers. And so I really want to get to the brass tacks of digital marketing. And that's how you came to me. So sorry for that.
Thank you. Yeah. I think that's incredible. I looked at the price at only $1,000, full meals and a nice resort. And that tells me it's not a sales conference. It's not a promotional conference. And we've done a lot with higher ed. And as you know, I think the only ones who are more difficult to work with are government.
Yes.
Even big banks and insurance, they're easier because they have a stronger drive for the financial side on the lead gen, even though this is a marketing and enrollment conference.
Right.
So the thing that we teach, which covers full scale digital marketing, is in this book, which I want to give out. And we have different versions of it. This is the one that we did with Jake Paul. You know who Jake Paul is?
Yeah.
So Jake Paul is very well known, more on the social media side. But we also have, for example, this, which I can bring, #1 selling book on Amazon right now in social media. And it's with Perry Marshall. Perry Marshall's an OG, right? It's the world of like Ollie and Rand and me and Perry. So Perry's the #1 seller on Google ads and Facebook ads. And we're talking about how it's really the same thing where you have search and social and messaging all fitting together. So a lot of people, as you mentioned, Alexa, they view it as like a pure branding play or pure social media play, or it's about analytics, or it's about SEO and websites. But I would love to show how, when you look at it from not just like a high level in the clouds, big picture, but from a fundamental standpoint, if we have goals, content, and targeting, which are the necessary ingredients, and then we put that into the machine, that handles search and social and messaging at the same time.
I love
Anytime there's a new channel, anytime, people will say, well, it's about chatbots, or now it's about Instagram stories. You know what it is? It's still goals, content, and targeting, the building blocks, the Legos, but then that's being repurposed to fit into another channel. So the big rise in TikTok is nothing more than taking the vertical video, the cell phone style video, and then changing the format to be able to fit inside TikTok. So if we have goals, content, and targeting, and a lot of folks in higher education, I think they'll understand and resonate with that, because if they've done a lot of TV or a lot of direct mail, they'll understand, the goal is I need students at, enrollments at less than $300 or whatever the number is. There's the content, which is the storytelling and the branding, but collected in a first person selfie kind of way. And the targeting, where does it live? Who are we trying to reach? What situations are they? Single moms that want to come back and get their degree, right? So if we have that goals, content, and targeting, which is what we'll all understand, then it removes all the fear about social media or about, performance max is so difficult. No, it's not, right? It's just goals, content, and targeting, but there's a video component. So I think it'll be a refreshing view of digital marketing that appeals more to people that are not young adults and are not super technical. Even though I'm an engineer and I can go as technical as anybody into these areas, I think it'd be a lot of fun to cover that. And I want to provide as much value as possible. I don't want to sell anything. I want to just provide all the training that we just give away at our workshops. And that way they actually have a framework. They actually have a plan. They have checklists they can implement. So it's super practical. And if there's enough time, I would love to do some live exercises too. I love doing audits. So it's not
everything you just said is like exactly what I was looking for. This is like true for me.
Because what I'll do is, and I've done this like 800 times, because whatever, done a lot of speaking, as Cheryl knows. I'll say, here's the deck. Here's all the training. Go for it. I'll give it to you. So no one has to give us an email. Here it is, right? You can go through it. If you have a large team, here's the different specializations. Here's all the training that we have, right? But let's derail a little bit and let me show you what it really means. Who here would like to volunteer their university, right? Then I'll put in the URL and I'll break down everything live. And in 2 or 3 minutes, I can break down all these different strategies and then teach directly from their example not by embarrassing people, but by showing what's broken in a fun kind of way. And then show how, okay, I know you guys are saying it's tough for you to do video and social media. You're trying to hire all these people to do personal branding or spokespeople or influencers, or whatever. Let me show you how to do this right now. Whip out your cell phone and do this. Now watch me cross-post this to Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. That took me 2 minutes. Watch me run an ad against this. That took me another 2 minutes. These are the people you need in-house. This is how you're going to work with Carnegie and other folks so that you can be a good client, or whatever your agency is, or if it's just your in-house team. This is how you process digital marketing. Here's the framework: collect goals, content, and targeting. Here's how you execute it. Here's how you measure it. All the other things that you have will fit into these sets of checklists.
So that sounds like an absolutely perfect formula. And this is like exactly what I was looking for. And I love that you take a TikTok lens too, because that's the shiny new topic right now. And either people are one all in, be like, tell me how to do the TikTok, or they're like, I'm scared of the TikTok, and we're getting asked all the time about running TikTok campaigns and should we do it and should we? So I do like, and that there'll be a lot of appeal to talk about that specifically anyway. So, and I like how you just break it down. Like it's just another medium for your message, that's it. In terms of next steps for you. So is Cheryl your handler or your friend? Like I'm trying to figure out.
Cheryl's a good friend.
Okay.
She's a referrer, but it's not like we have to go through her. I mean, copy her where you see fit.
Okay.
Because she wants to tag along, which is totally cool, right? I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I have no problem with that either. So in a nutshell, we'll provide, I forget where you live.
I'm in Vegas.
You're in Vegas. Okay. So we'll provide the airfare. We stay at the Yacht Club, nice hotel, cover that, the meals. So one of the nice things, it is kind of a more intimate conference in that there's only typically, like pre-COVID, we're probably at the 400, 450 mark.
Okay.
In COVID. And we came back last year and we were probably at 250. I think we'll probably be, hopefully, depending on what's happening in the world in COVID, back to, that 400 mark if we can. But it's intentionally small too, so that networking. And then we have the lunches outside, and we have this private dinner that happens at the American, and then this dessert and open bar, watch the fireworks show, and Epcot backstage, sort of Epcot stuff. So it is a really fun conference. I'm not just saying that because it's our conference, but it's different than any conference I've ever attended as a person or an attendee. And it is by design and by choice to be like that. And then we talked about, and I know Cheryl mentioned to you, so the stipend of $3,500, because just want to recognize, you are still taking time out of your life to do this. And we want to be able to recognize and appreciate that. So if that all sounds good, I don't know if you have
I'm going to take just selfishly, I have not been to Epcot in 30 years. So I'm going to take an extra day just to do the Orlando thing. I think it'll be really cool. We
can do that. We'll book the hotel and everything for you. So maybe you can just remind me the day. We'll cover your extra day too.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So should I just go through you? So that, do you have a speaker? Like, how do you want to take the next steps here?
You could just copy me on these,
okay,
and then I'll coordinate for other people with whatever, forms and bio and links and all the educational materials. Our team will give that to you. And we'll tune it for Carnegie as well. Yeah,
that would be great. And it sounds like you have a good understanding, because that's usually part of my spiel is reminding speakers. It is entirely a higher ed audience. So there's certain vernacular and words and buzzwords that they don't like to hear, and certain ones that, they want to talk about student prospects. They don't want to talk about, e-commerce type of terminology. So they're very sensitive to that, like incredibly sensitive to that.
Yeah. We have a lot of examples because of what we've done with like Nike and Starbucks and Red Bull and guys like that. We have a lot of that as social proof, but we also have, nitty gritty lead gen for folks that aren't spending $1 million a day.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's important too, because, they immediately will dismiss, be like, well, that's great for Nike. They spend more money in a day than we spend in, 10 years kind of thing.
Yep. I get it.
All right, great. So I'll follow up with this because I'll need the speaker bio and your session description and a picture or your actual headshot and all that. So can I reach out to you, CC?
Yeah, just reply to that email. Real easy.
Okay, great.
Awesome, Alexa.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'm really looking forward to this.
Awesome. Have a good day.
Take care. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.